This conference will now be recorded.
All right. So good morning, everyone. My name is Logan Simios, and I am one of the owners here at J.Krug. Our firm is a team of risk assurance and financial advisors, and I personally manage our benefits and financial services group. I truly want to thank all of you for joining us during these crazy, unusual times we're all dealing with for this educational annuity webinar. I can share with you all up front that annuities come in different flavors. They come with different features and different riders to choose from. However, their two most important attributes are protected growth of funds and a guaranteed income stream for life. And since I only have 30 minutes or so here, I will go ahead and introduce our guest presenter right away. His name is Burke Sennett from American General Life Insurance Company. Burke, who I've known for many years now, has extensive experience, expertise, and 18 years of experience, and is a great resource in the annuity marketplace. So Burke, take it away.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Not bad, not bad.
Perfect. Okay, so what I'd like to do, everybody, is we're going to go through a series of slides that will show you, hold on one second, an overview of the planning that I'd like to discuss today with regards to retirement income. So, give me 2 seconds if you don't mind.
Maybe turn your volume up a little bit, Burke. You could.
Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about planning for income in retirement. And to do that, we are going to talk a little bit about some of the basics, but also where annuities can play a role in some of the planning. So the agenda today is, what challenges do I need to be prepared for? How can I generate income from my savings and investments? Where do I even start with all of this? And how can I generate more guaranteed income? So the first thing we need to look at is life expectancy, because this is one of the risks in retirement. You may end up living longer than you expect. For a couple both age 65, there's a 50% chance that one spouse will live to age 93, and a 25% chance that one spouse will live to age 97. Therefore, we have to plan to make sure that we've saved adequately during our working years, that we can be prepared for a 30-plus year retirement. If we look individually at ages, again, if you're looking at a female, life expectancy is higher at age 85, and for a male, it's at age 83. But again, you put the combination of this together as well as the advances in technology with medicine, people are living longer lives. The next risk that we need to be concerned about is going to be inflation. And currently inflation is very low, but there's many that are speculating because of some of the stimulus and the additional $4 trillion that has been issued by the government of stimulus, that there may be inflation moving forward in potentially 2 or 3 years. And we need to be aware of the cost of goods going up. And so we're going to potentially need more money throughout retirement with a rising income stream. Healthcare costs continue to climb. That's a risk that we need to be aware of in retirement as well. The market could experience a significant decline. And I'd like to talk a little bit about what just took place. So since 1970, over the last 50 years, the market has dropped 30% or more on 6 different occasions. It normally takes just about 11 months for the market to drop 30%. However, this last move on March 31st, the market had sold off. That only took 30 days. And so what's hard about this is the market was in wonderful fundamentals on February 19th. It sold off a total of 34% by March 23rd. And again, moving forward in this new world that we're in, we do need to be prepared that unfortunately there might be further or future pandemics. And what can we do to protect ourselves from a market drop like this? It's interesting, if we look back over the last 20 years, the client has experienced the following: minus 49, minus 57. And at this point here, the client experienced minus 34. So again, we need to be prepared that there are going to be some drops in the market. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm trying to advance the slide here. So if we're looking at volatility, we need to be prepared that historically you will see dips of 5% or more 3 times a year. Corrections of 10% or more you normally see once every year. Bear markets of 20% or more you normally see once every 3.7 years. Heading into what took place in February, it had been 11 years since the market had pulled back the full 20%, becoming a bear market. So again, these are normal trends in the market that we have these pullbacks. But this last one, because of the pandemic, was especially shocking to all of us with the speed and how quickly it took place. So one of the questions we ask in planning is, how much of your retirement income is protected from market volatility and also guaranteed to last? If we look at insurance in its most basic form, we buy it every day for our home, life, and auto. And we do that without even a second thought. Hey, I have to insure my home against fire damage. I have to insure my life to protect my loved ones. And I have to buy automobile insurance to protect myself in the case of an accident. But knowing that the market pulls back normally once every 3.7 years, 20%, why wouldn't we be looking into potentially insuring our retirement? So how much income can I generate from my savings and investments? So there has been a theory which is called the income floor approach, which is really doing the following. Let's make sure that all of our essential lifestyle expenses are covered with guaranteed income throughout retirement. I want to know that every January 1st when I wake up, I have money to turn the lights on. And then the discretionary lifestyle expenses may be covered by a series of different investments that are either guaranteed, if you would like, or non-guaranteed, based on your personal preference and comfort. So the essential needs are going to be the following. That's going to be your daily living, costs of your home, food, clothing, transportation, healthcare expenses. Discretionary and lifestyle, it may be, again, workout memberships at exercise, travel expenses, country clubs, travel, hobbies, dining out. These are all lifestyle expenses that you enjoy doing, but they're not your essential lifestyle needs. And it's really a question of whether you want to guarantee these sources to make sure that you have this play money, or if you want to pull it from different investments. And then the last part of this is going to be the legacy plan. Money that we are leaving to our beneficiaries, and we're looking to address potential tax burden and provide financial security to those folks. So where do I start? We're going to start by identifying your guaranteed sources of income. So Social Security would be one. If you have a pension, that would be another. And we will talk about the annuity in its most basic form as potentially being a guaranteed source. For the non-guaranteed sources, those are going to be your savings and investments. Maybe you're going to continue to work part-time, or maybe you own a home or an apartment that you're going to rent throughout retirement that is going to give you some income as well. So Social Security. Most can start taking their Social Security at age 62, but it's going to be at a reduced amount because the full retirement age is at age 66. So in this example here, if you started early at age 62, you would get $750 a month. But sure enough, if you were to wait until age 66, defer it, well, now you've increased your guarantee for the rest of your life, and you'll get $1,000 a month. What you'll notice is by waiting each and every year, your Social Security will go up because you are deferring it, and it will potentially be more money for the rest of your life. So one decision is to sit down with a financial advisor and decide, when am I going to start taking my Social Security? What makes the most sense? And just a heads up, to get an estimate of what your Social Security is going to pay you, you can use the retirement estimator, which is going to be at the ssa.gov. And again, this is going to be your Social Security website that you can go to find out your own individual Social Security payments. If you're covered by a pension, you definitely want to take a look at that estimate of benefits. And here are some specific questions you want to ask. At what age are my benefits available? What are my payout options? Do I have the option for an income stream that lasts for as long as I live while providing benefits to my surviving spouse if I should die first? So to give you an example, some pensions will pay the employee for the rest of their lives. But if that employee dies, to the beneficiary, if it's a spouse, it may only be 50% of what they were paying just the individual, or sometimes 75%. And then we also need to look at what are the estimated benefit amounts, because you may get an opportunity to take your pension lump sum and put it into a different investment that might even kick out more income. And then finally, how can I generate more guaranteed income? Annuities are a source that can be used for guaranteed income. And so as we're looking at the pie chart on the left, at Social Security and pensions, that's guaranteed in the blue. But the other savings and investments are in green, they're going to potentially have risk involved in them, or maybe they're conservative like a CD. If we want to reposition some of this money into an annuity so that we have a guaranteed income source, that may make sense for one during retirement. So I want to look at the different types of annuities that are offered. Today we're going to talk about variable annuities and indexed annuities. And what I'd like to do is start with the indexed annuity first. So an indexed annuity can do the following for you. It can help you capture the upside in the market and protect against downside because there are no losses to the account value inside of a fixed indexed annuity. So I want to give you a little bit more of a view on this. And today we're going to keep it as simple as possible and just give you an overview. So inside of a fixed indexed annuity, there are going to be 6 different indexes that are offered from AIG. There'll be the S&P, which is U.S. stocks. There'll be the Russell 2000, which is U.S. small cap stocks. There will be an international stock, which is the EFA index. And then we have a dividend index, which is U.S. stocks and cash. We have a balanced index, which is bonds and cash. And then we have a global index, which is global stocks coupled with U.S. bonds. So there are multiple choices. You can mix and match amongst all of these. You could use all 6 of them if you would like to diversify the portfolio. And here is how this is going to work. For each one of these indexes, when it comes to your credit at the end of the year or performance, it's going to work the following way. First, interest is based on the index performance over a specific period. And then it is adjusted for either a rate cap or a participation rate. So let's imagine that for the index rate cap, the index grew by 6%, meaning the underlying performance was a 6% gain. However, inside of the product, if it has a cap of 5%, that means you would earn 5% to your account value. If you have a participation rate, there won't be a cap on the upside or the amount you can make like I just showed previously. This is actually going to be a percentage of the, it's actually going to be a percentage of the return. So if the index gave you a return of 12% and you were able to capture 40% of that number, the actual interest earned on your account would be 4.8. So there's different ways that we are going to credit these accounts. But I want to show you a very basic example of the power of a fixed index annuity. And we are going to look at the lost decade. So this is going to show from 2000 to 2010. And what I want to demonstrate is a client putting in $100,000 and buying just the S&P outright, or buying the S&P 500 inside of a fixed indexed annuity. And inside of a fixed indexed annuity, there is no downside risk to the account value. And there is a cap or upside of 5%. The most you can make is 5%. So we're going to compare the two. In the year 2001, the market dropped 13%, which means if you own the S&P outright, your account value started at 100, but it dropped to 86,000. We compare that same year to the fixed index. Remember, there are no negative years. So if the market dropped 13, that means your account value stayed the same. It's at 100. The following year, when the market drops 23 in the S&P, again, your account value would drop if you own the S&P outright. Inside of the fixed index annuity, you're still at $100,000. Now let's look at a positive year. The market grew by 26%. You're going to notice that your account value of the S&P grew by that same amount. And inside of the fixed indexed annuity, you were able to capture 5% because of the cap. which means now you're at 105. So there's a big difference between these two account values. And what we want to demonstrate is, if you would own the S&P over a 10-year period, you put in $100,000. 10 years later, you still had not grown your account value. You were at 95,238 because of these down years and volatility in the market. Whereas in the fixed indexed annuity, you were never down money, and you can see that it grew by $36,000 during that same 10-year time period. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Go ahead, Bert.
Excuse me?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So another thing to consider is, because there's no downside risk inside the fixed index, it really does help you with your emotions when the market sold off like it did from February 19th of this year to March 23rd. And if we're looking at the lost decade when you put in $100,000 and 10 years later, it still had not gotten back to the original amount that you put in if you bought just the S&P. Versus buying the S&P inside of the fixed index, that would have been a much better and smoother ride that's in the green there. Remember, there was no downside, but there was upside opportunity and growth. And the difference between the two values is about $41,000. So that is if you bought the index without a guaranteed lifetime rider on it. I do want to discuss now that you could buy a guaranteed lifetime income. It costs an additional 1%. It is going to give you a guarantee of 5% for life of your premium. So let me demonstrate a 65-year-old who needs to take income. It's going to be a 5% withdrawal when they draw income at that age. So I want to start by looking at one of our living benefit riders is going to do the following. If you are in a position where you can wait 10 full years, regardless of your age, we will double the original amount of money that you put in towards an income stream base. So let me demonstrate. If a 55-year-old can wait until 65 and they put in $100,000, we are going to double not the account value, but the income-based level that they could then go and take a 5% withdrawal from. So if you put in 100, 10 years later, by contract prospectus, we will guarantee that you will be able to draw 5% of $200,000, which is $10,000 a year that will be paid in a pension-like income until you die.
Hey, Burke, you want to remove your reminder there? Your meeting reminder?
Okay, yes.
That'll be helpful.
Yep. So again, I like the simplicity of knowing, regardless of what happens in the market over the next 10 years, if I put in $100,000, I have bought the right to take my income off as $200,000. So that's one of the living benefit options that's offered from AIG. It's called Income Plus. The next living benefit is called Income income plus multiplier. And what this is attempting to do is the following. It is going to give you the opportunity to have a rising income stream in retirement. So let's imagine a 65-year-old retiree who needs to start taking income and would like it to be guaranteed for the rest of their lives. You put in $100,000, you're going to take 5% of that number immediately. That means you'll have $5,000 paid to you till the day you die. However, I mentioned that there are 6 different index funds. And what we are going to do is look at the performance at the end of each year. And in that portfolio that you would build with some assistance from Logan, if you get a 4% return on that performance, we're going to do the following. We're going to increase your income by 4%. So you started taking your withdrawals off of 100. Now you would be taking your withdrawals off of an income base of 104. Basically what that means is if I'm taking 5% of a higher number, I just got a pay raise. There are no negative years inside of the fixed index annuity. So remember, your account value can't go down. If your performance is 1.4 the following year, your income will get increased by that same amount, thus another pay raise. And what we're looking to do is to give clients the ability for rising income in retirement. And the reason being is we're looking to keep pace or beat inflation. And so what I like about this is starting at age 65, for 15 years, we gave you a rising income stream that finally grows to 9,686. It almost doubles from your original withdrawal amount. The only thing that you need to know is if the account value were to go to 0, the increases stop, but we're going to continue to pay you this $96.86 until the day you die. So that's an overview of the second living benefit rider, which is giving you the ability for rising income. Are there any questions I can answer on that?
No, I'm John McVeigh. I don't have any questions, but thank you. It's very interesting.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Logan. Can you say that one more time?
This is John McVeigh. No, I just said no. I have no additional questions. I appreciate your update on this.
Yeah, no worries. So that is going to cover the fixed indexed annuity. And again, today is really just an educational overview. I now want to talk about another type of annuity that's offered, which is going to be a variable annuity. And I think the simplest way to understand the variable annuity is this is going to be a basket of sub-accounts, which run very similar to mutual funds, but this will have a guarantee on it as well. And some clients like the ability to actually own equities inside of a variable annuity to potentially give them higher pay raises without a cap or without a participation rate. And the withdrawal rates tend to be a little bit higher on the variable annuities as well. So at age 65, which is where we normally target the retirement and first withdrawals from these products, you can get 4.75 for life. But a lot of clients say, I'd like to take more. And so we do offer the ability to take 6% withdrawals starting at age 65. For a couple, it's 5.5. And we will continue to pay you 6 or 5.5 as long as the account value never goes to 0. And if it does, then we will do the following. We will continue to pay you, but now we will pay you the following: 4% of the same level you were taking your 6% off of. So let me walk through this a little bit further. You are going inside of this product to get whatever is greater: a daily lock-in of your investment, or a 5% guaranteed growth to that income base for 15 years. So imagine I put in $100,000, and imagine I put it in on March 23rd, which was the low. The market has grown almost 25+% off of that low. So my 100,000, each day that it made a newer high in the market would be locked in. So let's imagine it grew from 100 to 125. That's now the level that I will take my withdrawals off of for the rest of my life. And again, I mentioned potentially taking 6% of that number. If the market didn't cooperate, well, then I know worst case, I'm going to get 5% growth to my income base. So I'd be able to take my withdrawals in a worst case scenario if I put in 100 off of 105 the next year, and then 110 and 115. And this is all during the accumulation phase as we are building our portfolio to draw off of it at a later date. If we now look at the income phase, meaning now we're turning on our withdrawal, we are still going to lock in your best day as an investor. So imagine you put in 100,000. Right out of the gates, the market value sells off. But sure enough, due to the underlying growth in the individual sub-accounts, let's imagine we lock in 110,000. The following anniversary date, we're going to look back and say, what was your best day? You're now going to have that base that you take withdrawals off of go from the original 100 to 110,000. During that year, the market or contract value sells off again. That's okay because we have this protection in place. And as we know that markets fluctuate, if the market grows past this level that we're taking our income off of, we're going to lock it in automatically. So now let's imagine it's worth 130,000. Now we're going to take our income off of 130 for the rest of our lives. And so again, the idea is knowing that equities sometimes provide more upside. That's where some clients would like to take a little bit more upside opportunity, but also know that their income is guaranteed for life and it will not go down inside the parameters of the contract. Logan, any questions that I can answer on that?
Don't see any at all.
Okay. So again, just a quick review. It does make sense to do a planning meeting with the opportunity to sit down with Logan to say, let's determine what my essential lifestyle expenses are. What can we determine are discretionary lifestyle expenses? And then how do we want to fund them? Do we want to just fund our lifestyle expenses so that all of our bills are going to be paid for in retirement? And if so, how are we going to do this? Is it going to be Social Security and maybe some low-risk investments? When it becomes to the lifestyle or discretionary expenses, we're going to have to ask, well, where are we going to draw this income from? Is it going to come from mutual funds, managed money, a CD? The problem with the CD today, however, is it's only paying 1.1%. And we're, again, need to look at, is that enough growth to last us for 30 years in retirement? And then finally, to be able to sit down and talk about a legacy. What will my legacy be after my retirement? Do I want to leave money to my loved ones, to a charity? There's lots of different ways that we can structure this. But this would really, again, come at some of the ideas that Logan can share with you on how clients are doing their legacy planning. So with that, Logan, I'll go ahead and hand it back over to you. And if there are questions, please let me know.
Sure. No, thank you, Bert. Thank you very much. I just wanted to let everybody know we've gone over a little bit on that half-hour time period here. Bert does a great job of educating our clients and our prospects, and he is very, very good at that. And so we appreciate your effort there, Bert. We also wanted to know if you'd like any other additional information at all that we could help on or educate you on further, show you illustrations, anything like that that we can do. We'd be more than happy to do this in a similar fashion into a go-to type meeting if you'd like to do that. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know here.
Again, this is John McVeigh, and I don't have any questions, but you've accomplished what I'd hoped for, which was to give me an overview of annuities and to learn a little bit more about it. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you too, John. Otherwise, from there, we'll let everybody go and continue on with their day. And thanks again to Berg Senate for a great educational annuity webinar.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.